Good to go. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Bryn Budden. I work in public affairs, and I will be your moderator this afternoon. Today, we will hear remarks from Mayor Mike Savage, Erica Fleck, Director of Emergency Management, Andrew Filopoulos, Director of Solid Waste, and Lucas Pitts, Acting Executive Director of Public Works. Following remarks, we will open up the floor to questions. We will do one question, one follow-up, and depending on the time, we may do another round of questions. We have a number of reporters who have dialed in as well, so we will first take questions from those in the room, and then we will call on the reporters who are on the line. We do ask that media here in the room go up to the microphone to ask your question. Please be sure to say your name and the outlet that you're reporting for. And we also would like you to use that microphone so that everything we say here is audible for ASL interpreters. With that, I will hand it over to Mayor Mike Savage.
Thank you very much, Bryn Budden. It's good to be here, folks. Bonjour à tous, Gway and Jalazi. Pleased to be here in Mi'kma'ki and here in this building where we spend some time on the weekend. I'm very pleased to be joined by Erica Spicer, who is our Emergency Management Director. Pleased to have Lucas Pitts with us, who is our Acting Executive Director of Transportation and Public Works, and Andrew Filopoulos, Director of Solid Waste. This may be a boring briefing. We don't have a lot of exciting new news unless perhaps you're waiting for some information on what's happening in your street, but we simply want to be open and clear as to where we are in this recovery after the floods of the weekend. I also want to acknowledge that Denise Schofield is here, who is our Deputy CAO for many hours yet before she goes on to other things and has done exemplary service for this municipality. So thanks for joining us for this. We want to update on the municipal response and the recovery from last week's horrific flooding and rainstorm. We want to all begin by extending our deepest condolences to the families and the loved ones of those who have been lost to this disaster. It has served as an incredibly tragic reminder of the fragility of life. Our hearts are with those families and their community now and in those difficult days to come. While it is true that we're a resilient people, it's an awful lot to expect as we manage through fires and now floods, each with their own devastating impacts. I am heartened by the incredible work and commitment of emergency responders. EMO, career and volunteer firefighters, RCMP, Halifax Regional Police, paramedics, some real heroes, the ground search and rescue teams, and our own GEM teams, Joint Emergency Management Teams, which are a unique creation of Halifax and the work that's been done at the EMO. And these folks step up whenever we need them, and they are amazing. I also want to thank the folks from the Canadian Armed Forces who have helped in this, and also want to help individuals who've helped their friends and their neighbors. Anybody who's helped anybody who's helped anybody's animals. I saw some animals at the Dartmouth East Community Center Evacuation Center. I want to thank the Red Cross, the St. John Ambulance, the Salvation Army, who step up when we need them. You know, our infrastructure, just like ourselves, is being pounded by cumulative weather events. And we need to understand that all of these things are pounding away at our infrastructure, at our roads and our culverts. So even though we get past one event, it might be a hurricane, and then we have the fire, and then we have the rain, they're all taking an impact on infrastructure. I want to thank the many people in our municipal workforce who've taken on the Herculean task of putting us back to where we need to be on our roadways, our trails, our parks, our playgrounds, pools, bridges, culverts, and everything else. We have a fresh appreciation for our reliance on basic infrastructure that underpins daily life in our communities. For so many of us, these recent events have come with the stark realization that climate change is here. It's on our doorstep. It's real. We must find new ways to meet this challenge, the challenge of our lifetime. This means changing how we build, where we build, our energy sources, and our transportation systems, just to start. I know that when we get through this latest challenge, Some of those things may seem less critical for a while, but they shouldn't, because they absolutely are critical. And there will be a next time and a time after that. I'm very pleased that we have a very robust municipal action plan and the staff that have helped us to implement that. We all have a role to play, some small, some large, in making the shift to a more sustainable future. We need to support innovation, we need to be willing to change, and we must turn fear into action. As we undertake this flood recovery, we continue to work well with other orders of government, and Erica will speak to some of that. And I've received assurances that support will be available. I was pleased to see today the province has opened applications for financial assistance for uninsured flooding damages, and I think that is a significant help. I want to acknowledge again Erica Fleck, whose expertise and diligence make her one of our most important pieces of infrastructure, of human infrastructure. Her small team, which is really Haley and now Lama, and maybe a few others on occasion, do amazing work. I want to thank my colleagues on Regional Council, particularly those who have been in the most affected areas, some for both the fire and for the rainstorm. They have been single-minded in meeting the needs of their residents. I want to thank their council staff, their small but mighty staff, who work hard, and all HRM staff, of whom I am so proud. I will now turn the floor over to Erica Fleck.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your kind words. So I'd just like to start by sharing that the province of Nova Scotia announced today a disaster assistance program that will assist municipalities, individuals, small businesses, and not-for-profits with recovery costs from damages caused by the flash floods. We do not have any other information at this time, but we will be sharing the provincial information when it does come out. In the past 2 days, we introduced a registry for those residents who cannot leave their properties due to flooding issues. There are numerous residents still sheltering in place due to road and culvert issues. The number of people that are continuing to shelter in place changes daily as our amazing public works crews and with our partners at Halifax Water in the province to get all of the work done. Lucas will speak to that in more detail in a few minutes. As of today, noon today, we've had 45 residents register and no major needs or concerns at this time, most just seeking information on when they will be able to get out. So the major issues are culverts at the end of their driveway, they can't get past their driveway, streets impassable, and again, the road crews are working on those, again, in more detail that you will hear. Our 311 staff, I'd just like to note, received almost 5,000 calls, so 4,886 calls over the weekends with residents' concerns. In addition, I'd like to announce very happily that we've asked Team Rubicon to return to HRM to be able to assist with our underinsured and uninsured residents, and we'll have more details on that in the days to come. That's it for me. Thank you very much.
Hello, Andrew Flopoulos, Director of Solid Waste. I'm going to review waste management options for our residents. Debris generated from flooded basements, for example, such as wood or drywall, can be taken to Halifax C&D. There's a Dartmouth location located in Cole Harbour. There's a Halifax location in Goodwood. Excess garbage can be taken to the Otter Lake landfill. Curbside collection is proceeding. The residential curbside waste collection program is proceeding per our routine schedule. We have increased bag limits from 6 to 8 garbage bags. Those bags can be substituted for bundles of debris that can be placed curbside. Additionally, per garbage collection cycle, residents can put out one bulky item, such as a couch. They can also put out a white good, such as a fridge or freezer, noting that the CFCs or the refrigerants have to be removed first. Residents can call 311, and we arrange for that service at no cost to our residents. With respect to food waste, it is weekly green cart season in HRM, so there is a weekly green cart service to our residents. Food waste, spoiled food waste can be depackaged. That food can be placed in the green cart. If residents have excessive spoiled food, they can take it to one of our 2 composting facilities, one located in Burnside, the other located in Goodwood. And that's everything I got. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lucas Pitts, Acting Executive Director of Public Works. Our crews are focused on cleaning up, assessing, and repairing the damage. We have currently 278 open work orders, with 195 work orders now officially closed. We do expect the number of work orders to increase as water levels recede and we're able to further assess the damage. The majority of our crews are currently assigned to assessment and repair work, and we have brought in external contractors for additional help. Our focus is on cleaning the main arterials, major transportation corridors, and safety routes. We are working very closely with our partners at the province and Halifax Water. And our crews will continue to work around the clock to ensure municipal roads and infrastructure are safe to pass on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we are now going to call on the reporters in the room to step up to the microphone. Jonathan McGuinness, we can start with you from CTV.
Hi, Jonathan McGuinness, CTV. I'm not sure who would like to answer this. Climate change has been an issue, obviously, for quite some time now. What can we do to limit the ramifications of storms like we had on the weekend? Or what are we doing?
I'm going to turn the microphone over to Shannon Medemer, who's not here. Climate change is directly responsible for a lot of the changing of the weather. I know that some people will say, well, we had Hurricane Juan in 2003, we had Hurricane Beth in 1971, but the consistency and the volatility of this crazy weather is only explained by the changing climate. As I said, we have a very robust climate action plan, which includes things like electrification of our fleet, both buses and ferries, new ferries, which we're hoping to bring in the next few years. It includes bus rapid transit. It includes, renovating our existing buildings so that they're to a climate standard that makes sense. Our new buildings, like the Macintosh Depot and the new building in the north end of Halifax, St. Andrews? St. Andrews, but also, anyway, our new buildings are being built to the standard that we want. What can we do? Everybody has to do something. We as a city know that we can't do it all. And, there are people who say, why is the city doing something when large economies in the world are not, getting rid of all of their coal plants and all that sort of stuff? It's like anything else. It's our job. We have to do what we have to do. We are on the ocean. We have to what can we do? We can make sure we're building in the right places, that we're building with the right materials, that we have the right kind of buffers. We're investing in nature-based solutions. We're buying green space. We're protecting biodiversity, bioswales. We're looking at how we are heating the new buildings that'll come in the Cogswell interchange. So that'll be a district heating process. So there's things we can do. There's also things the community can do. We have something called the CEO Climate Action Charter through the Halifax Partnership. A number of companies, everybody from the NSCC and Dalhousie and private companies like Lindsay's, have committed to building and to conducting the business that they do in a way that's climately efficient for the climate. So there's a thing for everybody to do, we believe, and EV charging stations are going to ramp up in this community in a big way. So there's a lot of things we can all do, and I think we all have a responsibility, not just to ourselves, but to the planet, to do more to protect against climate change. And as a city, we took the rather bold step of putting a 3% climate action levy on all property tax bills, which will bring in $18 to $20 million a year so we can fund these kind of things. And when people say, it's a tough time, it absolutely is a tough time for people. The cost of living is high, interest rates are high, people are worried about their mortgage. But it's the only time that we can do it, because we missed the last opportunities over the last 30 or 40 years. So everybody has a role to play in both the mitigation and the adaptation to climate change. A little example, we announced something in Eastern Passage, a couple of months ago, which will help with sea level storm surge in that area. It's a nature-based solution. So supported by the federal government. Those are the kind of things that we can do.
Mr. Mayor, can I add to that?
I'd love you to.
Thank you very much. I just want to add in addition that HRM is embarking on a hazard risk and vulnerability assessment. An info report went to Mayor and Council, I believe, the third week of June, which seems like 6 years ago. And in that, it's the first time in North America that an HRVA is being done like this. So not only is it identifying the normal risks and vulnerabilities for any municipality, but it will also be adding in all of the climate change data into that as a layer, multiple layers, and then also the social vulnerabilities for HRM residents. And it will be very unique, broken down, very granular to certain communities, and I use communities in a very loose sense. We've created boundaries for that to be able to identify all the risks throughout HRM, with climate as one of those risks and hazards that we'll be looking at as a whole. In addition, our climate team is also looking right now, they're working with us to look at, this was a 1 in 1,000 year storm. So what does that mean for us? And what it does mean is that we do know that it's weakened some of our infrastructure in the ecosystem already on top of the fire. So we are looking at all of that information and pulling the data together. We're still doing the mapping, and we will be publishing that in the days, well, in the months to come, I should say. Thank you.
Thank you both. Jonathan, you're good? Okay, another question from the room. Frank?
Yeah, Francis Gamble with the Chronicle Herald. Just wondering if we have a sense of how many people are still displaced from their homes because of the flooding, and what the municipality may be doing for them.
Erica?
So thank you. So your question was how many residents are still displaced? Again, the number goes up and down every day. But right now, we're still around 150 that we're still tracking, and that's residents that had to leave because of the flooding or had to leave their homes because of flooding, that they went to shelter and then were moved, by the Red Cross and situated in other means. There are a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds of people that are staying with family members. So it's really tricky now to capture all of those numbers, but we do believe it to be at least 150. But we also have that large number sheltering in place as well.
What's the municipality doing for those people who are still displaced?
So the Red Cross is the contracted service provider through the province of Nova Scotia when people are evacuated. So the Red Cross is the service provider that's actually working directly with the individuals that were displaced if they need assistance. And then HRM again created that registry so that we could identify those individuals that need assistance that are still sheltering in place.
And just to remind you, Frank, that when this happened on Friday night, we set up 2 evacuation centers, one in Beaverbank, one in the Dartmouth East Community Center. The Beaverbank one wasn't being used a lot by, I think it was Saturday afternoon, so we put everybody in the Dartmouth East Community Center. And, the Red Cross, St. John Ambulance, and really the amazing work of Salvation Army, who showed up to feed people, did a really super job in that circumstance. So, when people needed help, we tried to stand up and be there for them.
Craig Paisley with CBC Transportation Infrastructure.
Sure. Lucas?
Can you tell me what your biggest challenge is right now, and when people might expect things to get back to normal, whatever normal is? We see a lot of crews out, but I'm wondering if you could just expand on the biggest challenge.
Well, I think our biggest challenge right now is dealing with the volume of assessments we have to do and the work orders coming in and the calls coming in. There's widespread damage. Our main focus is getting on the main transportation corridors and getting those open. So Hammonds Plains Road is one we're working on today. We've been working on for the last couple of days, and we're hoping to have open by mid-Friday, hopefully, fingers crossed. We're dealing with a gas line there, so the work is slow. So essentially, we're trying to prioritize what comes in, but we are still doing ongoing assessments as well. So
nothing on timing, really?
No, it'd be difficult to estimate. It's an ongoing. We've done assessments on all of our arterial and collector roads, so our main roads, but we are working through the local streets now, and it's hard to put an estimate on that until we're through that process.
And if I could just bring everybody's attention to the map. The map is live online, and this is data that we collect from the City Works, which is Lucas's department through Public Works. And in addition, we've changed it so it makes sense to the non-engineers like myself who look at it every day. And what it does, it gives you a great capture by neighborhood. You can zoom in and zoom out, and it shows you the amount of work that's scheduled, that needs to be done in those areas. And then as soon as Public Works closes those files, it does disappear off the map to show that it is completed, and that is a live map. It's on halifax.ca. If you go to the flood response tab, the orange tab, it's got the link right in there.
All right, do we have any further questions from the room? Yes, go ahead.
I just want to be sure that there is no municipal financial help right now, like the provincial say there will be a financial help. So is there a municipal financial help for people right now or not
Just
yet?
to be clear, you're asking if there's any municipal funding for those affected by
Yeah,
floods
yes,
currently?
exactly. Sorry for my English.
No, that would not be, but I'll have the mayor speak to that.
No, it's not the purview of the municipal government to do that, for a bunch of reasons, not the least of which is our entire budget is $1 billion, and the provincial budget is probably 15 or 16 billion, and the federal budget is whatever's left in the world. So we've never done that. You know, there's things that we can help with. We put a lot of money into Lucas, not just his own massive salary, but the department that he runs. So no, we don't. That's not traditionally something that municipalities do. I mean, if there's things that are our fault, obviously we take responsibility for those things. But I want to commend the province. From my point of view, what they've done today with the uninsured losses is pretty significant and pretty quick. So I thank them for that. One other thing I just want to say on the climate, since Andrew is here, that Halifax has been a leader on climate for a long time, long before I was the mayor of Halifax. The cleanup of Halifax Harbour was a huge deal. If we hadn't done it then, it would probably be unaffordable today. The green bins, we were one of the leaders in North America in the collection, diversion of waste. And so we've done a lot of cool things. Clear bags. There are some things we do in terms of trying to keep a clean environment that at the time people don't always love, but by and large people accept and are proud of now. So we'll do the same thing with the other challenges that we have on climate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any further questions from the room? No? Okay, we're going to move to the phone lines. I will advise there's a slight delay on the phone. So we'll just wait a minute here and make sure we can hear everybody. I'll call first on Marlo Glass with the Canadian Press. Marlo, are you there? It's okay. Just figuring out some technical issues. Just one moment, please. Okay. Hi, Marlo. I'm calling on Marlo Glass with the Canadian Press.
Hello?
Hi, is this Marlo?
Hi, Marlo. I'm calling on Marlo Glass, the Canadian Press. Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello. Hi, Marlo. Do you have a question?
Hello? Hi, is this Marlo? Hi, can you hear me? Hi, Marlo. I'm calling on Marlo Glass, the Canadian Press. Hi, can you hear me?
We apologize. Just one moment while we figure this out.
But if Erica...
we're going to go through the phone. Marlo, can I get you to repeat your question, please?
Yeah, there were also some technical difficulties on the line earlier, and I couldn't quite hear her comments. I believe she said that it was a 1,000-year event or a 1,000-year flood, but I didn't catch it. So I was just wondering if you could repeat that again.
Thanks, Marlo, for the question. It's Erica here. So I did say it was a 1 in 1,000-year event. So what we do is we do modeling for the average 1 in 10-year storms. We plan for 1 in 100 for how we respond, but this one was a 1 in 1,000-year event. As we ran the modeling, we had to flip to a 1 in 1,000 because of the water levels and the issues that we've seen. The average 1 in 10-year storms, we plan for 1 in 100 for how we respond, but this one was a 1 in 1,000-year event. As we ran the modeling, we had to flip to a 1 in 1,000 because of the water levels and the issues that we've seen. The average 1 in 10-year storms, we plan for...
It's worth repeating.
Definitely worth repeating.
Okay. Can we call on Mitchell Bailey from Global News? Mitchell, are you on the line?
Okay. Can we call on Mitchell Bailey?
Yep, I'm right here. Do you hear me?
As soon as possible. Apologies for the inconvenience. I'm just going to throw to the mayor here briefly for some closing remarks.
You're going to wait for
I don't think the phone line's working.
Okay, so we apologize. We're going to work on the phone lines and the air conditioning here in this building. So we're done for the questions, we think? Okay. So please send your questions. We'll do our very best to answer them. I had a chance yesterday to go up in a helicopter with our friends in the RCMP and survey the damage of the water. And of course, we saw the damage from the wildfires, which is really, really stark. And there's nothing that we can say that will alleviate the loss of a life and the loss of property and you know what people have suffered. But our staff is working really hard. We want to be up to date. We want people to know the information that we have as quickly as we have it. Lucas and his folks and Andrew and his folks are working hard on this. You know, in my office, I have a framed picture on the wall that I've had since the day I was sworn in 2012, and it says, "We shall never rebuild Halifax unless everybody works." And of course, that is a famous saying from after the Halifax explosion, when on December the 6th, 1917, in the flash of an instant, we lost almost 10,000 lives, 2,000 lives, 10,000 injured, 1,000 people made blind, and we rebuilt. So I can't diminish how awful it feels when we see people dying as a result of these catastrophes. And, you know, what we need to remember is we used to have hurricanes in the fall and volatile winter weather in the winter. We've now had fires in the spring and floods in the summer. And we don't know what's next. But I know this. This is one of the best places in the world to live. People are flocking here to live because of the quality of life and because of the people who are already here and the opportunities that exist, and that won't change. We wrap our arms around the people who have suffered losses, but we will continue. That is Halifax, that is Nova Scotia, and that is what we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes our press conference for this afternoon.